Hello, everybody. I'm gonna give y'all a couple of minutes to get y'all notifications and pings and dings and all of that good stuff. And then I'm not gonna make this long or overdrawn, but this is something that was brought to my attention. And when I see something, I say something. I'm one of them people. So, thank you, Spirit. So today, what I really want to talk to you guys about is sort of an aspect of trauma bonding. So, yeah, we are going to be talking about an aspect of trauma bonding within our families today. And this particular phrase or this particular wordplay that I know for a fact a lot of us in the Black community, I don't know about anybody else, but I know for a lot of us, we have always heard that term, blood is thicker than water. Blood is thicker than water. And here go already. They already starting with the shits. So again, today what we are going to be talking about again is that whole phrase of blood is thicker than water. So I know a lot of y'all may have been reared up or raised up hearing that phrase a lot or being thrown around, especially when you guys were put in the positions of either growing out of your previous self, shedding, trying to establish new ties, or even you starting to realize a lot of the little toxic patterns your family are actually displaying. And now you don't want to deal with the shit. And whenever you decided to address the person in the family, or you done decided to address the family, period, about toxic behavior, toxic patterns, and the fact that there is no way to move forward from them, a lot of the time, Phoenix, a lot of the time, what they will end up doing is using this metaphorically incorrect terminology of, oh, look at what you doing. Look at what you doing to me. Look at what you're trying to do, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, blood is thicker than water. So, originally speaking, when people were talking about that term, blood is thicker than water, let me tell you this, number one. They manipulated the whole goddamn saying as a mind torture, as a mind contraption, or as a mind freak. What does that mean? What do you mean it's a mind torture or a contraption or a freak? The term originally, when speaking about blood being thicker than the water, was literally talking about those that you have established relationships with. Those people that you have established true bonds, those people that have accepted you for who you are, what you are, the way that you are, those people who have went over and beyond their call of duty for your end, to the point when it came down to it, they were willing to sacrifice that blood right there on the line. They were willing to sacrifice their blood for you right there on the line. And some of us have strangers that will be more open and adapt to learning us and healing us and being a growth and a help to us versus the water, blood being thicker than water. And what the water is the representation of is the water is the wound. The water is literally that essence of the wound that you may share with family members. And as we all know, family members are quicker to stab you in the back than anybody. So at the end of the day, when you hear people telling you that, oh, we supposed to be a family, we supposed to be doing this, that, and the third, and blood is thicker than water, you show the fuck right, honey. You are absolutely right. Blood is thicker than water, because at the end of the day, I know for a fact, I done sacrificed for motherfuckers that I ain't even know from a can of paint. I know for a fact I've had people sacrifice for me that did not know me from a can of paint. versus me having to beg and plead and go through multiple trauma bonding situations and occurrences and having to relive past life instances just so other family members can be comfortable in that sanctity of using that word of blood is thicker than water, not realizing that blood can also become very toxic. The water in the womb can also become very toxic. And when I am not allowed that place and space to grow from toxic motherfuckers, then a new source must be available or provided. And this is where, again, you guys have learned to reparent yourselves to a certain degree. And a lot of the times when your parents or y'all family members have realized that y'all have reached, thank you, Spirit, that y'all have reached a place of sanctity or a place of peace that truly cannot be disturbed from people on the outside. When you guys are getting to that point in your life where a spirit may be telling you, oh, it's time to change your name. And you may want to end up being Bathsheba, the queen of Zion over Egypt. Whatever the fuck you may want to rename yourself. This is usually when that time of you reparenting yourself and re-knowing yourself, reintroducing yourself. A lot of the times our family members are not engaged or even privy to realize that transformation of, hey, number one, whoever Tamika was as a kid is not Tamika when she turned 10. That's still not Tamika when she turned 15.
Try it.
It's stuffed.
Oh, sorry. It was up a tea bag.
Mm-hmm.
You like it?
Yeah, that's good. You have to remember that. And at the end of the day, people that are born in the womb with you,
Grab your drink.
they know more about you. They've been with you. And these sometimes are even the people that are more quicker to stab you and bring you down than anybody else on the outside. This is where you will have people that are literally utilizing this term, blood is thicker than water, to literally keep you constrained. They want to keep you close. They want to keep you tight. Because at the end of the day, they're not ready to acknowledge the fact that not only is blood thicker than water, but water can also become very poisonous. It can become toxic. It can become stale. It can become stagnant. But if you are referring to the blood is ever moving, it's ever flowing, and it also goes through a process of cleansing itself so that it remains pure. So when you guys get to that point of realizing that you're growing, you're learning, you may even be getting new names, new places and stuff. Stop expecting your family members to be the first set of people to back you up on your change. Stop expecting your mom and your dad and them to be the first person on your bandwagon. Stop thinking that they're going to jump on for this, oh, she's learning and developing and he's becoming a great man. No, because at the end of the day, some of your parents are still focused on the trauma bond of lack. What they could not be because they became parents. What they could not accomplish because they became parents. Oh, well, I was raised this way, so I'm going to perpetuate that kind of living and teaching because that's just what I was taught. So what happens when that manipulation and that backstabbing and that negative energy of always speaking negative on someone is also a part of that? And you decide you don't want no part. And this is usually when, again, you will see a lot of family members scrambling for, oh, well, you don't have to do this or you don't have to do that. We can do it without you. And at the end of the day, we'll sit there and try to guilt trip you into that bond of, oh, you'll need me before I need you. No, I won't. Because at the end of the day, I've reached a place of peace and solitude within myself to grow out of the childlike mindset and state of mind that you keep trying to hold me in. And this is also something else where that term blood is thicker than water. You got to be careful when you're using that term with blood being thicker than water. Because again, you have people in real time, in real life right now that will sacrifice their life and their time and their blood and energy for you. But don't let nobody call your mama and them, because they going to come up, well, I'm going to have to pray about it. Well, I'm going to see what Jesus said, and the Lord did not give me that. In other words, they going to blame Jesus for all the shit they don't want to do. They gonna blame their Lord's will for whatever is not being accomplished. And if at any point they feel that you are progressing in a place or in a state that they cannot move, be prepared for your family members to hold you back from that growth. What do I mean be prepared for? I don't mean sit in the shit, but be prepared. Be ready for that confrontational argument with your mom. Be ready for that confrontational argument with your baby daddy and all of them people, because they don't understand the elevation that you're going through. Whoever you were when you were born is not the same person when you turn 16. Because at that point in life, not only have you experienced life through other people, but you've experienced it through yourself. And this is why 9 times out of 10, this generation will cling harder to finding who their soul family or their soul tribes are, versus building with the families that they were born into. And again, this goes back to some videos that I had posted a while back on my YouTube about different shadow healers, hunters, beings, and things of that nature. A lot of you were born into families to begin your training. Okay? You were born into certain families and situations and circumstances because, technically speaking, you were chosen for a spiritual mission. And on your spiritual mission, it may not have required you to be all buddy, love and light, namaste, the gay away. It may not have been all of that at all. Some of you guys on this journey may have literally been down here to rectify peace and balance, and don't realize what rectifying peace and balance means, meaning you coming down here to learn some shit, on some shit, with some shit, because at the end of the day, people are fucking some shit up. And you may be the person that has to go correct that grand reapening. I realized that one aspect about myself when I was a kid. We were sitting in church reading about Revelations and the end times and all of this other shit and stuff, and they were talking about how bad it was. And out of nowhere, as they sitting here talking about the holy harlots and all of the shit in the Bible, I had the thought in my head of, oh my God, I know they're talking about me, but how do I address this? And I'm at church. Hey, you know that holy harlot shit in the Bible you talking about? That's me! I'm here! Yeah, I didn't know how to address all of that, especially since I was being taught about it from Christian folk. And, of course, if you know anything about Christian folk, they don't know nothing about Jesus either. They know what they were taught about Jesus. They know what they were mentally, brutally, mentalized, Lord Jesus, with the brutality of learning who Jesus Christ was. They have seen books upon books upon books that have told us how to keep a slave a Christian. We have read history books on history books about how slaves were even granted freedom if they became Christians, but had no idea what was involved with Christianity. So instead of actually learning for themselves, by themselves, with themselves, after they learned how to play the game, they decided to stick with playing the game. And now every Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, your birthday, Jesus' birthday, we have multitudes of trauma bonding sessions. Multitudes of trauma bonding sessions. I ended up seeing a post on Facebook not too long ago, and this does tie into what I'm talking about as far as blood being thicker than water, because when you are dealing with people who are in Christian life or faith, and you see them doing all of these great gatherings of deliverance, and they're doing all of these spiritual warfare meetings and stuff. I saw one of these posts on Facebook here in Augusta that they were doing a deliverance extravaganza. And the simple question that I asked the pastor on the post was, if you are doing these exorcisms in a massive contained environment, then how are you protecting the congregation from the spirits that you are exorcising from others? How are you containing the spirits from jumping from person to person? And the pastor deliberately responded back that that's not how it works. Sir, what the fuck do you mean that's not how it works? I'm gonna need y'all Christian folks to stop doing shit and fucking with shit, because it look like y'all arousing some demons, generational demons, ancestral demons. You're awakening them and then turning them loose on congregations. And then with those of us who are seeing the truth, because we were born in the darkness of it, we are the living definitions of a lot of our family's truth. That's why we are hidden in the dark of situations. When we bring those certain situations to light, we are discarded and cast aside. So with all of our parents going to church every Monday, Friday, Wednesday, and they're doing these exorcism sessions and blah, 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 and deliverance, at what point are these Christian folk catching these spirits that they are supposedly just delivering out of our family members, and then you're sitting here on your spiritual journey calling these different energies and entities out? Oh, that's just the spirit of anger. That's just the spirit of this. Do you know exactly what spirit you talking about that's angry? Do you really understand that? Because as of right now, that whole statement of blood being thicker than water is looking to be real true, because you speaking these demons over me. You know what the fuck they are. But these strangers in the streets are the ones that are telling me, hey man, that's not what it is. This is a reality shift. This paradigm is not real. These are the people that are giving me gems and putting me on game so that I do not have to stay in that mental slavery mindset. These are the people that are giving me real keys to the freedom and to the kingdom that I am deserving of, versus sitting here waiting on my mommy and my daddy to have a healing session when they have not been ready nor capable to heal. So what do they do when they see you making a way out of no way? They regress into that childlike state and throw out there, blood is thicker than water. At the end of the day, when everybody else is gone, you gonna need us. That sound like them demons talking. That's all I'm gonna say. That sound like them demons talking. And since 9 times out of 10, a lot of us are raised in Christianity, and we're not taught the deeper meaning behind a lot of this, you have no idea what you're talking to, who you're talking to, what you're conjuring up, or even your ancestors or the people in your face. So again, for the masses of this whole new wave of deliverance, I am an exorcist. I do deliverance and exorcisms. I have performed them on many different lands, especially in Alabama. I'm not only an exorcist that can do exorcisms, but I am a hoodoo conjure soul surgeon. If I see the shit on your soul, we have to take it out. And not only do we take it out, we contain it and we discard it appropriately. No, it is not a time for the masses to be around when we are providing a service of soul surgery. And even then, when exorcisms or a deliverance session is needed, only certain people are privy to that, because you have to be healed to a certain aspect to even deal with certain other energies and entities within yourself. This is the way that you can deal with somebody else's demon of anger due to perversion and rape, because you've dealt with that anger of perversion and rape. So when it is time to go to spiritual warfare, you can stand toe to toe with that exact demon and be like, I see you for what you are. Being the demon of sexual molestation, lust, and rape, you can go back to the fifth realm of hell where you belong. Pythagoras, Belphegor, Lamnia. You can call these demons and energies by their names, first off. So when you are seeing your moms and your parents and your families dealing with that trauma bond of, oh, they just done cut themselves out. Remember what I told you guys. Some of y'all were not born into families. You were born into a mission. You were born into a spiritual boot camp. You are not meant to come here and be kikiing, be buddy. Oh, I wish me and my mom could be best friends. Your mom is actually the demon of sexual abuse and molestation and loneliness and emptiness. No self-love, lacking self-love, and also lack of direction, lack of understanding of self. That's the demon that is raising you right now. You might want to learn her P's and Q's so you don't do what she's doing. Learn the shit so you don't become what she's becoming. Some of you have been privy to be raised with a lot of drug addicts. But for whatever reason, we're not able to become a drug addict. That is because you were raised by those demons to see what those demons are about. Because it's different when everybody is out here speaking that love and light and, oh, we need to do that. Hey, man, I'm going to be real with you. I was a demon that was born and bred and raised by giants and demons. I am the mother of the cross and the rose in the dark space of nothing. Everybody didn't get it up out of the light and the sunshine. Some of us got it up out of the mud. Some of us got it up out of the dirt. Some of us got it up out of the 9 gates of hell. Some of us got it up out of that void space of nothing. And what that means is when you felt that your mom and them weren't listening to you or giving you that attention, I'm going to need y'all to learn to become the people that you needed the most when you were younger. That's the point of reparenting yourself, especially when you are dealing with people that like to throw around. Blood is thicker than water. You gonna need me long before I need you. I'm sorry, my beloved, but I am that I am, and I am elevated out of that childlike state of mind of needing a parent. When I realized that my parent could no longer parent me, I became my mother and father. Life became my God. And all the spirits and the people that I connect with on a daily basis are the divine spirits and guides that guide me through this so-called hell every day. So at the end of the day, mommy and daddy, when you're ready to know me as the person that I am right now, we can always grow and talk about that. But as far as a lot of y'all calling people by their previous names and energies and things of that nature. Like, I was gonna say, can you lay her down? Here, fat girl. There you go, mamas. There you go. You okay, Anna? Okay. You have to remember that, they're not able to reach you at that frequency. But that also means that you guys can't be whining and y'all can't be whining and crying about, I don't understand why my mom doesn't listen. I don't get it. It's because, sweetheart, you were born into that family. That does not mean that you were supposed to be sticking to that family. You came here to be on a mission. You were privy to see that shit, to heal it. Not to sit in it and wallow in it and try to make it make sense. No. If you were one of those children that were privy to see abuse growing up, Seeing your mom and your dad fighting or other people being abused growing up. That wasn't the cue for you to become the abuser. That was the cue for you to learn the abuse tactics so that you could see it when it's coming to stop it. Not to sit there and continue the generational curse of, oh, well, my grandma was in an abusive relationship. My mama was in an abusive relationship. I'm going to be in one. Because now with you being in an abusive relationship, what the fuck do you think you're teaching your child? You're teaching your children how to settle. And the one thing that I cannot stand is for a female to say how much she's over with a situation and then go right back to the situation. Baby, you wasn't over it then. Shut up. I actually had to talk to my daughter about that last night. Don't come complain to me about a situation you're not ready to heal from. Don't come crying about, oh my God, I don't feel good. Well, what's wrong? I don't know. The fuck you mean you don't know? I don't know. Just something wrong. Okay, what is wrong? I don't know. Okay, so how can we fix this problem in this situation? I don't know. So are we going to look for a solution to this problem and situation? I don't know. And this is where a lot of y'all are at right now. You are at that point of, I don't know. You can't complain about situations and circumstances and then realize that your mom and dad and them are not going to be on board because, sweetheart, they're not to that elevation yet. They're not to that truth. They're not to that light. They're not to that precipice yet. If they still having argument issues in their own spirits about whether they have been touched or not as a child, what makes you think they ready to hear about your elevation in the truth? What makes you think that they're ready to talk about their flaws as a parent? They're not going to be ready to talk about that. They're not going to. And as much as you are growing and elevating in this time period and in this frame, you cannot continually expect others to share that same joy and that same happiness because they're not going to. And the more that you believe that they should because y'all family, you, my dear, are going to set yourself up for failure. You are going to set yourself up for heartbreak. You're going to set yourself up for devastation. And ultimately, you are now playing in that circle of nowhere to now here with these exact same demons and energies. Oh, you thought you was big and bad, finna break out of the boot camp in the cycle, thinking that you healed this shit. And this again goes all the way back to that original trauma binding of the family of blood is thicker than water. Not realizing that people that you share blood with will be quicker to put a knife in your back than a stranger on the street that's seeing you struggling and will pull over and help you. You can literally be sitting here complaining or asking one of your family members for help, and it has to come with stipulations. It got to come with a price. It got to come with this. It got to come with that. It never comes with the genuine, oh, you need help. Here I come. And a lot of you guys have this mental idea of what family is supposed to be instead of realizing that, hey man, y'all were raised with a lot of trauma bonding family members. They could not survive in the family life or in a family setting if nothing negative was going on. They could not survive or keep up with the fuck shit if nothing negative was happening. Whenever it's time for the family to get together and talk about their progressions and everything, it shouldn't matter about what you are believing or your religious preference is on your belief. It should matter that at the end of the day, all of y'all receive the call to be ordained ministers. Now, how y'all lead in y'all flocks, that's on you. That's on all of them. That's their journey. That's their bid. That's their shit. But at the end of the day, the celebration should be that the entire family woke up to the elevation of hearing that call, and they're all becoming delivering messengers of the message. But instead, you will have people that will trauma bond and turn their noses up at, she on that hippie bullshit again. She on there, she doing this, that, and the third. I thought blood was supposed to be thicker than water, meaning I thought you was going to back me up since we literally share the same womb water from grandma, great-grandma, and great-great-great-grandma on back. But this is what I'm getting. So again, people that like to use that whole trauma bond stigma of blood is thicker than water, stop it. Because at the end of the day, it's too many strangers out here that'll sacrifice for you and your children while you still running after your mom, your dad, and everybody else to give you the lesson and blessing that technically you're supposed to be here giving them. A lot of y'all are not sent here to be a part of the family. You are the family. You are literally the beginning and the restoration of your own lineage. So when you meet up with other like-minded people in your frequency, in that wavelength, that is a universe. That is a universe. That is a universe. These are whole tribes of different people coming together under one house, one banner. That's how that is supposed to work with a community or with a family. Each branch is still of their own branch, but it's respective because of the growth and the elevation. Nobody is holding each other back. Nobody is holding each other to a standard that is impossible. And everybody is acknowledging of that growth. Who you were as a 5-year-old kid is not the same person that you are when you turn 10. By that time in your life, you've had several other experiences that have shown you what you can and cannot do. You had new experience that showed you, oh yeah, I can do that. I can handle this. Not only can I handle it, I know how to get in that situation, get out, do some other shit too. This is where you are learning to reparent yourself, because at the end of the day, as much as you guys may believe that, oh, your mom, your dad, this, that, and the third, you are actually the parent this lifetime. You are the person that is supposed to show your family that exit strategy out of their hell, because you are elevating through your hell. Or at least for those of you that are going through the healing ritual, or the Healing the Shadows ritual, or doing any shadow work with me, or spirit work with me. You guys are already going through that healing. So yes, as you are healing, you are going to radiate. You are going to be in alignment. You are going to start receiving blessings. People are going to start speaking negatively against you, and they are going to eat those words. And that is because, again, you were not chosen to be family. You were chosen to restore family lineage. You were chosen to restore family bonds. You were chosen to restore that motherly love. You were chosen to restore that fatherly protection. You were chosen to restore that connection amongst others so that females can go back to trusting other females. You were chosen to see these disconnections amongst your brothers and these men, so you know how to fix that correction when you got these brothers and these men around dealing in lack of jealousy or insufficiency. Be the people that you needed when you were younger. That is the point of y'all being born into families that y'all may feel you don't fit in. And I had that conversation with one of my godchildren. She was like, I feel like I was born into this family, but I don't think I'm supposed to be here. No, you're not. A lot of y'all have taken that, oh, I was born into this family. Y'all done took it to the next level. So now you can't elevate past that. If it's not what your mama wants you to do, you don't want to do it. If it's not what your dad wants you to do, you're not going to do it. You have no mental aggression of your own about who you are, what you want to do, and what you are supposed to be doing. Especially when a lot of you guys already have your place, space, and purpose and know what you're supposed to be doing. Been seeing the fuck shit from your family, been seeing where you need to fix stuff, and still won't say or do anything because you go, ain't my business. No, No. Instead of realizing you were privy to see sexual molestation from your uncles and them, because this is a generational curse that has been perpetuated for far too long, and it's time for it to stop. You've been able to see the mental disability of PTSD and bipolar schizophrenia, because at no point in time were you as a child able to sit and process and turn the emergency alarm system off in your brain. Remember what I told you guys. There's always 3 aspects to the mental capacity when you are in a situation dealing with trauma, okay? They will not tell you that third one. The first one is fight. When you are in them situations, the first thing you may choose to do is fight. Even when you are around your family members and stuff and they attacking you and all of that, the first thing you gonna want to do is fight. That's one. The next one is flight. When you decide that this is too much trauma and you can't deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it. Don't think it. Don't speak it. Don't think it. Don't speak it. Don't think it. Don't speak it. And you try to run from the trauma. Your brain has assessed the situation, the circumstances, and your brain is like, yeah, nah. And you run. Now, between fight and flight, here's that third one that don't nobody talk about, which is freeze. You have fight, flight, and freeze. And what freeze is your body is literally being overloaded with chemical messages, overloaded with chemical trauma responses or traumatic responses that your brain does not have time to process what your physical body is processing. And since they're both processing at the same time, they just freeze. Sort of like when you're giving your computer one too many commands, or you're giving your cell phone one too many commands. What does it do? It freezes. And since it freezes, at no point in time are any of us equipped with the proper therapy or with the proper anything to know that, hey, you've just been through a traumatic experience. Your alarm system mentally is still going off of fight, flight, or freeze. And usually when you freeze up, that means your body has gone numb, your brain has shut down, and you are literally existing. You don't feel anything, you don't hear anything, or what a lot of people in science like to call dissociate. You dissociate from that experience, or literally your soul hit the pause button. And your literal soul jumps up from your avatar and be like, this is too much. This is too much. Let me breathe before I go back into this avatar, before I go back into this game, because, numb your hoe, fuck these hoes, don't try me, try Jesus. And then when you come back to, you don't really remember what happened or what went on. That's because you've been through that process. You've been through that process of freeze. It's not that your brain don't know what happened. It's not that your body didn't feel it. It was just too much for you to process too soon. And with us as children that have started trauma bonding first, before we actually learn to physically love ourselves or to love anybody else, we learn how to trauma bond first. Oh, you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you back. Oh, you did this to me, so I'm going to do it back. Oh, you took this, well, I'm going to take it back. We originally were raised on trauma bonding tactics first, not ways on how to heal or address certain emotional or energetic issues throughout life. So when you are being traumatized as a child and nobody is teaching you that, hey, these feelings are good, these feelings are bad, or whatever the case may be, now you have to realize the same thing about your parents. A lot of them have been through situations and circumstances where their emergency alarm system was never deprogrammed from whatever trauma they kept going through. And not only did that alarm system not go off in their head, that they're no longer in that situation and they don't have to react that way anymore, people will succumb to that trauma to make it a reality and will start forming trauma bonds with that false version of reality. So you, as the child that are born into this situation and circumstances, you also this being born of spirit who is here to elevate the negative shit that was put out here to begin with. Because as much as people are saying, oh, I'm a healer, I'm this, that, and the third, man, look, I'm a two-headed conjure woman, and I come with Kali Ma hands. Hit me if you want to, and I might got 6 hands coming back to slap you. Just saying. The punishment must fit the crime. Work and act accordingly. I choose to be a nurturer because my nature was me raised with demons. My grandmother was the demon of alcoholism. My dad, I swear to God, has autism and some other shit on top of the fact of him being mentally uneasy and not well. And when these people are having their traumatic alarm set off, nobody is there to help deprogram them or to turn the alarm off. So now they are living and going through life with these alarm systems on. Oh, somebody's always going to hurt me. Oh, somebody's always doing this. Oh, you going to do this. You going to take that. No, I got to be this. I got to be that way. You guys were not born into families to become family. You were born into families to see what order and balance has been denied and thrown off. You've been privy to see that way when you confront a lot of these demons and energies and entities, you're not thrown off of your square. It's like the art of warfare. You cannot go into battle unprepared. I was a soldier, so I know everything that is falling in my lap in my life is for a reason, because I am preparing myself for spiritual warfare. Just because you a soldier in the army don't mean you did warfare. I'm sorry, I was trained by my great-grandmother and all of my grandmothers, and then some. My mother is an ordained minister of elevation as we speak. I know my path and my bloodline. I'm going to need y'all to find yours and stay out of mine. Just saying. Because at the end of the day, I've reparented myself. And I have to whip my own ass still. A lot of y'all have reparented yourselves, and you take that time to whoop y'all own asses still. But I need you guys to realize that a lot of y'all family members, y'all moms and y'all dads that have called y'all the black elephants of the family. Yeah, I don't call nobody a black sheep or no black goat, because we are not sacrificial animals of nobody's trauma bonded bullshit. But I can be your black elephant though. I can absorb all that negative shit, transmute it into wisdom. And when I grow off of that wisdom that I transmute from your negative shit, don't make an elephant mad in a glass house. Because I can see you. And I ain't going to forget the fuck shit you did. So those of you that are feeling like you're not fitting into your families, you've been born into a family but you don't fit, that's because, sweetheart, you were born for a mission. You were put here for a mission and a purpose. You were born through spiritual demons that unfortunately were never supposed to be set loose on this plane in this dimension. We were all privy to be raised and be called quote unquote family by these demons. That way we can elevate past their lower frequency into the higher one of healing those frequencies. And that also means that people are going to come to you. They can't fight. They're not going to run to the people that have been out here doing the love and the light. Nah, they finna run to the people that's been getting it out of the dirt, out of the nitty gritty. They finna come find us in the hoods. They finna come find us in the most uncomfortable places, because that's where we finna be at. That's where we belong. I don't want to sit around no congregation of love and light motherfuckers when I know that half of my community is suffering from genetic demons that we done bred within ourselves. And at no point has anybody taken responsibility or accountability on how to stop any of them. A lot of people would rather sit on Facebook throwing shade and tea at each other. Oh, this bitch doing this, she copying my work. Hell, fuck that. Have you elevated your mama and your daddy out of their abusive language to each other? That way you can stop talking shit to your child. Have you figured that out yet? Have you figured out how to address the demon of lack? Meaning lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, lack of self-preservation. Have you addressed them little imps yet? Because if not, that's why your son is running around stealing and trying to make money, because y'all are still fucking with that demon and that energy frequency that you have chosen not to address yet. But instead, every time your mom calls for something, you go running. Stop dealing with that if you know that that's the demon you've been raised by. That don't mean go back running to it every time. That means hold it accountable and responsible, the same way you as an adult are held accountable and responsible. And again, like I said, a lot of us are not privy to have somebody help us deprogram a lot of the sensors that went off in our heads. We did not have anybody to sit down and talk to us about good touch, bad touch, or things that we were not supposed to be doing or perpetuating. I had to have a conversation with my daughter because she was like, I don't like when you pinch me on the butt. And at first when she was saying that, I was like, girl, bad, whatever. She just in her feelings, talking about she don't want me pinching her on the butt. And I really had to sit with myself about, okay, why do I pinch her on the butt? What is the point of that? Of course, my mom and them would say, oh, that's the way that we show love, so we can't say I love you. Because in my family, we don't say I love you. We don't say that shit unless somebody's like dying or half past dead. That whole I love you does not exist because my family does not, they don't love themselves. And that's just the truth of the matter. I had to realize the lack of loving themselves when it came to certain truth and how to find the resolution to the truth. Their responses were, you stuck in the past. You always stay in the past. I can't stay in the past that has never been healed in the present. If my soul is still fragmented from the trauma bonding that you guys did in the past, that part of my soul is still there and it still needs to be healed. It still needs to be addressed. Not just from within myself, but from those who inflicted that around me. And if you are not ready to address that within me and within yourself, if you're not ready to address the lack of accountability, you as being my parent, because I had to sit and have accountability with my child and realize that me pinching my daughter on the butt actually came from a bunch of family incest. Of uncles and aunties looking at each other and touching on each other. And immediately, once I had that revelation, that shit was dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. I'm not fucking with you no more like that. Period. So yeah, when I see anybody else doing it now, hey man, don't touch her. Don't touch that baby like that. Don't do that. Oh, you always thinking it's perverted. Well, where's the origin of you being a grown person touching on a child coming from where it's not perverted? Yeah, that same shit was brought to me too. And I had to correct it because I'm God enough to correct it. So I'm going to need you to wake the fuck up and realize that you are perpetuating the same shit to your children that was done to you. Stop it. You can't sit here and keep throwing around blood is thicker than water and then refuse to call family for help. And some of y'all know who real family is, but you like to fuck with us like we some of y'all human family. Not realizing that, hey, if we're a spiritual family of spiritual beings, I'm going to need you to stop coming with the human fuck shit like we can't smell it. Just because I was raised around demons and I know what they smell like, don't mean I want to stay smelling that shit. Because me personally, depression smells like dead flesh. Somebody who does not take care of their vagina smells like molded, rotting fish. Someone who does not love themselves smells icy and sweaty and stuck. Ew. Nobody wants to be in that. Especially when I can smell all of that on my mom. I can smell it on my dad. I can smell it on my sister's envy and jealousy. Like, I can smell that shit. And it's like, no, I'm good. Dap me up, son. And this is why you guys, again, you have to be careful about some of the words you are also speaking to your children. Thinking that your baby is going to be there for you always and they're going to have your back always because at the end of the day, you their mom or you their dad. That's not how this life works. The same way that you grew up and realized that your parents did not have all the answers, they're learning that now. So instead of going to your children acting like you know everything, you might want to humble yourself and realize those are the future ancestors. They know more that's coming than you do. You might want to listen to what they got to say. It's very eye-opening when you ask your children, how are you as a parent? When you ask your kids, how are you as a parent? And you have to remember, it can't be no fussing. It can't be no fighting. You can't have hard feelings about whatever their truth is. To you, you may feel that you are being the best parent in the world. You doing all the sacrifices. You doing this, that, and the third to your utmost. And to your child, it may look something completely different. The same way to us, we thought our parents were arguing, doing this, that, and the third, and we felt neglected. We felt ignored. We felt abandoned. To our parents, they did the best thing. They did the best that they could do because they didn't go to jail and we didn't die. They felt that they did the best that they could do as parents in this lifetime because at the end of the day, did you get hurt? Nope. Did you go to jail? Maybe a couple of times, but it wasn't nothing major. And did you die? No. So, nigga, we made it. They forget to sort of tell you about the next couple of steps of when you are introduced to other people, when you are a part to be privy to other people's universe. And a lot of the times when you guys are on your spiritual elevation of realization, you have to realize the healing that is coming for you may not be ready for your parents. Your parents may not be ready to heal that kind of healing yet because all their lives, they've been stuck in that fight or flight aspect of a false truth. And when they see that you've elevated past that, you have to remember, they're stuck in their own demonic presence as well. They're stuck in their own hell. They're stuck in their own shadow sense. So where those of you are learning to elevate and heal yourself, this is where y'all may hear me saying all the time, hey man, your light on. When I tell you your light on, that means if other people can see how you moving and doing what you're doing too much. Real niggas move in silence. Real conjure folk move in silence. Real hoodoo songs, those of us that practice of our ancestral lineages, thank you, Spirit. We talk to communicate within the community. But we don't do too much talking because we too much about that action. I don't have time to sit here and argue with you or do any of that when I know for a fact they getting ready to pass this bill in Congress and there's kids out here being raped and molested that will not be able to get abortions because they uncles could not keep their dicks in their pants. They mama's boyfriends could not keep their dicks in their pants. And on top of that, now the mama is running around talking about, oh, you a fast ass bitch because she's a broken bitch. So therefore, this young girl was never raised by a mother or a father. She was raised by a female who was taught survival tactics. And she was born through a man who had mommy issues and lack of self-realization, accountability, and responsibility. And both of these two are brother and sister because the same shit that is happening to her daughter also happened to her. So again, y'all, be careful of the trauma bonds that you are breaking and going through with your families. Because remember, as much as you are bringing them to the light, just because you're ready does not mean that they are. Be ready for that fight. Be ready for that disconnect of lower vibrations to higher vibrations. Be ready for that misunderstanding. Be ready for words to be turned every which way. Because what's done in the dark, which is all of us were done in the dark. We were not planned. We were not conceived out of love. We were conceived out of necessity. We were conceived because somebody said, no, you're not finna go to the abortion clinic. You're going to deal with this shit. We were conceived because other people's religious beliefs said, no, don't kill this child. We were not born out of love or light. We were born out of the darkness of shadow and necessity. We were born out of a lot of the negative shit. We were born struggling. We were born hurting. We were born during molestation. We were born doing rape. We were born doing incest. We were born doing drugs. We were born doing a lot of the time where women were selling themselves. This is where our grandma had 13 and 14 different cousins and male friends and all of that shit. But we stayed good for the holidays. We were not born to that system of people that had good memories. We were raised by the demons for spiritual warfare because we know what's coming. And at the end of the day, all of the things that people are playing around with now, oh, my mental issues, my this, that, and the third, which as much as I'm grateful for the community awakening, but this also means, again, all of y'all that are tapping into that frequency, it's like dropping pebbles into a lake. One ripple after another, after another, after another. Eventually, y'all gonna start a tidal wave. And that's what's happening now. Everybody is on this tidal wave of waking up to spirituality, not realizing, hey man, as above, so below. While you out here doing all of this love work and this money work and these love rituals and shit like that, I hope your motherfucking ass can fight. Because the demons that are attached to all of this shit and these work that you doing, they coming to eat. And you got your light on because you're doing spiritual work. And your light is saying, open, open, open. Another one. Open. And at no point are you realizing you're in warfare, baby. The minute you done got that blessing out of nowhere, now your mama looking at you crazy. What you done did? I live my life to the best of my abilities, the way you taught me to. You're going to have people that are looking at you crazy because you are manifesting while they are losing or on a downward spiral. Remember what I told y'all years ago, as above, so below. A lot of those people that were going through situations and circumstances, having all of these massive followers and shit behind closed doors and behind the scenes, these people are eating and leeching off of you. This is why they have to do this ritual work. Or this is also why they're not really giving you guys the tools to protect yourself. Now, if you in my hoodoo house, you already know I do more than give y'all tools to protect yourselves. And I let you guys know on the day, hey man, stop saying that you done being angry and shit because your mama, your daddy, your baby daddy, and all 6 of your kids finna piss you off in ways you ain't never seen a day in your life. I hope you ready and I hope you can fight. Oh, I can fight, I'm ready. 2 days later, oh my God! What did I do? I'm going back to Jesus. And Jesus like, I don't know, y'all niggas no way. White power. So again, you guys, when y'all hear these people telling y'all that blood is thicker than water, you have to tell them that they are absolutely telling the truth. The blood of the people that have watched me grow and develop from my past to my present and into my future, those are the people that are willing to shed blood for me. Those are the people that have set up late night conversations and cried and snotted with me. Those are the people that have driven hours just to check up on me. You right. They done sacrifice all that blood, sweat, and tears for me. Versus the people that I share the water of the womb with. My brothers and sisters. We don't communicate. People that I've called sister and shit like that. I've attempted to have those conversations in those relationships and get stared at like I'm fucking crazy. You ain't gotta stare at me like that no more, boo. I was just trying to be to you what wasn't being done to me, which was a sister. And I'm the eldest at that. I'm the eldest, 34 years old, and I'm trying to have a relationship with grown motherfuckers that ain't reached that level within themselves to have a relationship with themselves, to have one outside of themselves. I'm not finna fight and argue with you. You bother, because you want to argue. I ain't got time to argue with you. You want to argue with the past. You want to argue with Lynn. I ain't been Lynn since Lynn turned into Bama. I ain't been Bama since Lynn turned into Bama and turned into somebody else. I ain't been Lynn to argue with you since she elevated into Oyela. So you wanting to argue with somebody who don't exist? You sound a little dumb and ditzy. You want to argue with a spirit and the energy that was a child, and I'm clearly a grown-ass motherfucker of 34 years old. Me and you can't even argue about the same shit no more. You want to argue about shit that happened when we was kids. We can fix what happened when we was kids. We can talk about it and get some resolution and understanding as to why it ever happened. But you don't know me well enough to keep me in that space. And you don't respect me enough to elevate to the person and the place and space I am in now. Just as much as I've grown and elevated to recognize and show you love and mercy and realize that who my mama was when I was born ain't the same woman she was when I started kindergarten. Because when I started kindergarten, my mama started dropping me off with her brothers and sisters. Once I started kindergarten, my mama started going to the club more. She started hitting them streets more. She wasn't mommy anymore. She was ma. 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 And it was funny because that was my spiteful way of getting back at my mommy. I was growing up, oh, mommy, 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 mommy. Until I realized that when I told my mommy what was happening to me, she could not be my mommy. She transformed into Ma because she told me to stop lying. And I knew I wasn't lying. She became Mom because not only was I not lying, I started talking to my other cousins about strange shit I had been seeing with her husband, who is now becoming an ordained minister, which I swear to God, I can't wait to sit in on them sermons. I think that's one of the most beautiful things. I love the fact that my parents are becoming ministers, but I really want to sit in on one of them services if I ever get an invite from Regina or Leland Talbot. I would love to sit in on them services and listen to what lessons of love and light that they have to perpetuate. Because when it comes to their family, they still running off of them trauma bonding demons. Which is why I ultimately had to break away and put everything out there. Oh my God, you were doing this. You know what? Yeah. I was born into a family of rape and incest. I had cousins who were raised raping and doing incestuous things to me, to the point where I did not know the difference. Being a 5-year-old kid, playing around with penises with my cousins and having my cousin Clane eat my pussy and tell me that if I told anybody that she was gonna tell them that I did it and lied on me. Or the fact that my sister would literally, as a baby, would strip off her diaper and do certain shit, and I got punished for it because my mother's in their mindset was on sexual abuse and molestation because they had been through it. You had been through the sexual molestation and the trauma bonding of yourselves, but never thought that shit was going to be passed down generational to somebody else. And when I became privy of the fuck shit of my cousins still talking about how they wanted to fuck me, or how my sisters and them were still acting weird around me, or my brother being as old as he was still peeing in the bed, these were all sexual abuse, trauma bonding situations in my family that Regina and Leland refused to fix. Period. The mental abuse, the physical abuse, going to the pastor talking about, oh my God, Pastor Kyle, I understand getting a whooping, but this ain't a whooping. This is more than that. Being hung upside down and beat with construction cords ain't a whooping. That's abuse. But then again, I had to realize at an early age, I was asking help from spiritual demons that realized that they weren't demons. They really thought that they were elevated pastors and priests perpetuating spiritual slavery. And my young self would take me and my brother, and we would sneak off to the pastor's office to try and have a meeting with the pastor to tell him, hey man, we being beat at home. We ain't just getting our asses whooped. We being beat by a war vet. And my mama has dealt with so much physical abuse, she don't realize it's bad. She letting the shit rock. I have been beat to the point I can't sit because I literally am bleeding on the back of my legs. I'm bleeding off my back because my mother immediately assumed that I was molesting my sister, not the fact that she was a 3-year-old baby with a yeast infection that tore off her diaper. That part. We're going to ignore all of the big facts. We're going to look at the little ones instead. And for your mindset to immediately go to sexual abuse and trauma put me in the mindset of, so this ain't the first time this shit done happened. Because this is immediately what you jump to. So instead of addressing the trauma situation, you threw the blood is thicker than water, and at the end of the day, you gonna need me. I will rot in the hell that you created for me just to transmute it back to you before I ever need any of you again, to put me back in a place and space or a torment of purgatory that was never meant for me. That was meant for y'all to sit in because you chose not to elevate when Spirit told you and showed you. But instead of elevating to heal the family incestuous bullshit, half of my family is now dead. Not even half. Most of my family is now dead. You don't know what it's like to have people tell you that blood is thicker than water when you start realizing the water of the womb is beyond drying out. My cousin man in jail. My uncles are literally half living and half dead. And what I mean by that is, hey man, one of them niggas sneezed the wrong way, and I'm gonna see them both at the crossroads. I promise. It's a very unnerving thing to watch a generational curse eat the entire family. To the point when I elevated spiritually and I finally got to sit down with my mambo and I got to sit down with my ugogo and my mamasi and all of these different spiritual leaders and figure out, Grandma, What the fuck is going on? My great grandma told me off rip, they all had to die, or else it was gonna keep happening. I let you see the shit so you could stop the shit, but everybody else was gonna let it keep happening, so they all had to die. Even those who saw shit and said nothing, now they are experiencing a slow death. Family members can't communicate with each other no more because we're all dead. And the family that do try to communicate is such a spiritual blockage between all of us that we literally go, hey, how you doing? Are we good? People that I have grown up with, like my stepsister Ashley, I love my baby to death. I love my baby to death. I love my sister to death. She will always be my little sister. But the trauma bond between her mother and my father, my fuckhead ass daddy, and yeah, I can say fuckhead ass daddy because I didn't know Anthony Terrell from McCann to Paint, especially since this is the man that would not stop to acknowledge his first and only child. I saw my daddy, or knew my daddy, because he drove a brown car and would honk. He would honk his horn on his way passing me, going to my sister and them. So the way that they even knew him, I ain't even know him that way. So I did not know the trauma and shit that he was inflicting on them, regardless of the fuck shit I was already being raised with. And if you ain't never been to Gary, Indiana, baby, that is not the place you want to be reared in. And I've been reared there since the 80s, on and off. Again, if you can live in Gary, I swear to God, if you can live in Gary, Indiana, you can survive anywhere on the face of the motherfucking planet. I hate to say that. Some people be like, oh, it's just another hood. Ain't no hood worse than another hood. If y'all don't shut the hell up with that shit. And yeah, I got to say it. If you ain't never been a GI till I die, if you was not raised in the murder capital of the country at some point in your life, shh. Shut the fuck up when you hear real G's talking. Shut the fuck up when you hear real G's talking. We wasn't just raised by the humans, but we was raised by them demons too. Period. Where you sitting here, I'm just now big on meth. Hey man, my uncle was the king of meth. He was the one in the kitchen wrist whipping like a stir fry. In the kitchen wrist twisting like a stir fry. He was the manufacturer. He was the manufacturer. Some of y'all talking about, oh, I'm finna be a good pimp, and this, that, and the third. Hey, man, my granddaddies and them were the pimps. If any of y'all ever have heard about the mafia gang called The Family that ran the Midwest, I didn't die. I just multiplied. Them my peoples. Them my family. So again, if you know anything about them, you already know the generational curses I ended up fucking with when I realized who the fuck my family was. Everybody want to be running around here talking about, oh, blood is thicker than water, blood is thicker than water. Well, what happens when that blood being thicker than water and that water so thick it turn into slime? It turn into sludge. And as you trying to get up out of it, you stay sliding in it. You stay falling in it. You still got the shit up your nose because it's just water. Thick, slimy water. Generational, stagnant water. So again, for me and my family and my place in space, when that line of blood is thicker than water got thrown around, and I had to be privy as to why my ancestral lineage was dying, because these motherfuckers kept throwing around blood was thicker than water and was killing each other because they were blood and they were family born from the same womb of water. you have to realize at some point the healing that you are receiving and the training that you're receiving ain't for everybody. You may be that person to be that caretaker of your family. A lot of y'all are being put in positions of becoming the new patriarch and matriarchs of your family and that lineage, because a lot of that old fuck shit had to die. It had no place in space, in this realm, in this life, in this healing, or this dimension moving forward. It was not meant for you to sit in trauma bond with your mama and them downfall about her not ever finding the right love. It was for you to restore that love back to her. But again, you cannot force people to be in a way mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally that they are not ready for. You got to remember, even when slavery was over and done with and abolished and people had their rights to freedom and could run, you still had quite a few people that chose not to leave the plantation. They still wanted to be family with Massa. Massa take good care of them. What I leave for? What I need to leave for? Massa take good care of me. Massa family. In Jesus' name, Massa family. Not realizing that that's the same mental, spiritual perpetuation bullshit of mind control. Again, blood is thicker than water, and now Massa done fucked all of y'all. In Jesus' name, amen. So again, you guys, that was just my message. When y'all are out here giving y'all messages and lessons and blessings, don't be heartbroken if people don't understand or don't receive it. You got to remember, everything ain't meant for everybody. Every lesson ain't meant to be everybody's blessing. Ooh, sorry y'all, I'm picking tomatoes. Eee. I like when I can pick tomatoes off the bush. Ooh, I pick them off the bush. Ooh. Ah, sweet Jesus, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. So again, y'all, that was my message today. That was my tranquil tea time. Be careful of people that's telling you blood is thicker than water. Because now y'all know what the real meaning is. The true saying was blood is thicker than water was that the blood of the covenant was thicker than the water of the womb. The blood of the covenant was thicker than the water of the womb. The blood of the covenant, the people that you have created these ties and these bonds, you've created families with, you've created ties with, people that you have looked up to and be like, you are my sister, you are my brother, you are my child, you are my son, you are my daughter. These are the people that you have made these new covenants of blood with, because they don't know you from a can of paint and want to sacrifice for you, but they will. I don't know none of y'all from a can of paint, and I've done more than sacrifice for you. I'd have been to war for a lot of y'all. I done been through spiritual warfare for a lot of y'all, and I don't know you from a can of paint, but I know I want to see you do better in your life, because at the end of the day, I got children that got to be raised with y'all children. And if I want them to be better children, I'm going to need y'all to be better people. In order for all of us to be better people, we got to be better persons. So, with that being said, everybody, y'all know my motto. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to flip the camera like that. But yeah, y'all know my motto. Namaste, everybody. But nah, I'm going to stay fuck over here. Holla. Bye.